Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. Ash stood nervously in front of the full-length mirror, his hands trembling slightly as he smoothed down the front of the powder blue sundress. The soft fabric felt wonderful against his skin, draping elegantly over his slim frame. He had spent weeks secretly ordering the dress online, along with a pair of strappy white sandals and a small purse that matched perfectly. Taking a deep breath, Ash gathered his long chestnut hair and swept it up into a messy bun. A few loose tendrils framed his delicate features. He applied a coat of mascara to his long lashes and a subtle pink gloss to his lips, keeping the makeup fresh and natural. For as long as he could remember, Ash had felt a secret desire to wear dresses and express his feminine side. Growing up in a conservative small town, he learned early on to keep those feelings hidden, fearful of the judgment and ridicule he might face. At first, he would sneak into his older sister's room to try on her dresses, marveling at how beautiful and free he felt twirling in front of her mirror. As he got older, Ash started secretly buying his own feminine clothes, indulging his true self behind closed doors. Now, at age 20, Ash attended college in the city, finding more open-minded friends who encouraged him to embrace his authentic self. His roommate, Jenna, was the first person he confided in about his love of cross-dressing. "Ash, you have to go to the Easter event in Town Square today. It's the perfect chance to be yourself in public for the first time," Jenna enthused, seeing him in the blue dress. "You look absolutely stunning. No one would ever guess you're not a natural beauty." "I don't know, Jenna," Ash replied hesitantly, worrying his glossy lip between his teeth. "What if people realize I'm actually a guy? What if they laugh at me, or worse?" Jenna put her hands on Ash's shoulders reassuringly. "You can't let fear control your life forever. You deserve to feel confident and beautiful, inside and out. No more hiding." Bolstered by her encouragement, Ash decided she was right. It was time. He was tired of only being his true self behind closed doors. The city was different than his closed-minded hometown. Maybe no one would even realize he was cross-dressing. Lots of people were into alternative fashion these days. After giving himself a final once-over in the mirror, Ash grabbed his purse and headed out the door with Jenna before he could change his mind. The April air was warm and breezy as they made their way towards the bustling town square. With each step, Ash stood a little taller, the skirt of his dress swishing pleasantly around his freshly shaved legs. As they approached the Easter event, Ash's heart raced with a mix of exhilaration and anxiety. Colorful striped tents filled the park, brimming with arts and crafts, food stalls, carnival games, and an egg decorating station for kids. Cheery pastel balloons bobbed in the light wind. Families milled about everywhere, their carefree laughter floating on the air. Jenna linked her arm with Ash's and gave him an encouraging smile. He took a deep breath and they stepped out into the bustling crowd together, ready to enjoy the festivities. For the first time, Ash was experiencing the simple joy of being out in a pretty dress, no longer hiding his true self. The sun felt warm on his bare shoulders as they browsed the stalls, Ash growing more at ease by the minute. No one batted an eye at his lacy blue dress, too busy enjoying the holiday with their families. He and Jenna giggled as they tried on floppy Easter bonnets, Ash posing dramatically in a pink one adorned with silk flowers. They got in line for the egg decorating station, Ash's white sandals scuffing the grass as they waited. When it was their turn, he happily picked out a glittery purple egg and began carefully painting delicate scrollwork on its surface. Jenna grinned at him from across the table as she splotched multicolor polka dots on her egg. "Having fun?" she asked with a knowing smile. "The most," Ash replied, looking up with a genuine sparkle in his eyes. "Thank you for convincing me to come. I feel so free, like I'm finally not hiding anymore." Jenna reached over and squeezed his hand. "I'm so happy for you. You're absolutely glowing." Ash blushed, still getting used to public compliments on his appearance. They finished decorating their eggs and dropped them off to dry before wandering over to the refreshments area. The lady running the lemonade stand complimented Ash's dress as she passed him a cold cup. "That color looks stunning on you, dear. Really brings out your eyes," she said warmly. "Oh, thank you so much," Ash stammered, taken aback by her kind words. He felt his confidence swell, forgetting his previous trepidation. As they sipped their lemonade in the sunshine, Jenna pointed out a grassy area where some kind of dance lesson was starting up. A small crowd was gathering around the enthusiastic instructor. "Want to check it out?" Jenna asked. "Could be fun." Ash hesitated for a moment, then smiled and nodded, feeling uncharacteristically bold. Why not? He was already wearing a dress in public, something he never imagined having the courage to do. What was a little dancing? They joined the group just as the instructor was demonstrating some simple steps. It appeared to be an old-fashioned group dance, with pairs joining hands and skipping together in a circle. Little kids and grandparents alike were getting into it. When it was time to partner up, Ash suddenly froze, realizing everyone would expect him to pair up with another girl, since he was wearing a dress. Before he could panic, a tall man about his age approached and held out his hand with a friendly smile. "Want to dance?" the guy asked. He had warm brown eyes and slightly shaggy hair. Cute in a laid-back surfer kind of way. Sure," Ash managed to reply, shock quickly giving way to shy pleasure as he slipped his hand into the man's larger one. He'd never danced with a boy before. The guy clearly didn't realize Ash wasn't actually a girl, but that was okay. It still felt like a step forward. As they lined up with the other couples, Jenna shot Ash a delighted thumbs up from across the circle. He grinned back nervously, just as the perky violin music started up and his partner tugged him into the first hopping steps. Soon, Ash was too focused on following along to feel self-conscious. His dress flared out charmingly as they skipped and twirled around the circle, the guy's hand steady on his back during the partner sections. It felt completely natural, like this was always meant to be him, dancing carefree in the sunshine in a pretty dress, not caring what anyone thought. Pure happiness expanded in his chest. By the time the song ended, Ash's cheeks were flushed with exertion and joy. Everyone clapped, and he impulsively threw his arms around Jenna in a giddy hug as she ran over to him. "That was incredible!" he exclaimed breathlessly. "I can't believe I just did that. Danced in public in a dress." "You looked amazing," Jenna assured him, squeezing him tight. "So confident and light on your feet. I'm so proud of you for being brave." Over Jenna's shoulder, Ash saw his dance partner approaching with 2 bottles of water. "You guys were great out there," the guy said easily, passing Ash one of the bottles. "I'm Kai, by the way." "I'm Jenna, and this is my friend Ash," Jenna supplied helpfully when Ash just ducked his head shyly. Kai held out a hand to Ash, his eyes crinkling warmly as they shook. "Ash, I like that. It's unique. Beautiful and delicate, but also strong, just like you." Ash smiled tremulously back at Kai, amazed to be flirted with so openly in front of everyone while wearing a dress. For a moment, he considered correcting Kai's assumption that he was actually a girl, but found he didn't want to shatter the magic of this perfect day just yet. "Thank you," he murmured. "That was my first time doing anything like that. I'm usually not so bold." Kai grinned at Ash's shy admission. "Well, I'm glad I got to share a bold first with you then." Kai glanced over at the egg hunt that was forming on the far side of the park, kids and adults alike lining up excitedly with their baskets. "Hey, you should totally do the egg hunt. I heard they have amazing prizes this year." Jenna clapped her hands together. "Yes, Ash. It'll be so much more fun now that you're dressed up and feeling yourself. The perfect way to top off an already incredible day." Ash looked between them, his green eyes sparkling with a newfound sense of adventure. "You know what? Why not? Let's do it." Kai winked at him. "I'll be cheering you on from here. Good luck, Ash." With that, Ash hurried off to join the eager egg hunters, his skirt fluttering behind him. He grabbed a purple wicker basket from the pile and lined up with the others, bouncing on the balls of his feet in anticipation. At the whistle, they were off. Ash dashed across the grass, eyes peeled for flashes of brightly dyed eggs nestled in the foliage. He spotted a blue one peeking out from under a bush and scooped it up, grinning at his first find. As he went to place it in his basket, he noticed there was a small, rolled-up slip of paper stuck inside the plastic egg. Intrigued, Ash popped open the egg and unfurled the tiny strip. In elegant script, it read, "Be true to yourself." He blinked down at the message, a shiver running through him despite the warm breeze. What were the chances he'd find an egg with a phrase so directly applicable to his current journey? Ash carefully tucked the strip into his basket, wondering if it was meant just for him. He continued on with the hunt, skipping between trees and shrubs. A bright green egg was his next discovery, wedged between two roots. Popping it open, he found another slip of paper inside waiting for him. "Diversity adds color to life," it said in that same flowery handwriting. Ash smiled at that, thinking how his powder blue dress and lacy white socks definitely added some color diversity to the mix of people at the Easter event today. He dropped the note in alongside the first. As he bounded off in search of more eggs, Ash felt a growing sense of purpose. It was like the eggs were calling to him, willing him to find them, and each message felt directly tied to the new self-love and acceptance blooming inside him today. He quickly spotted a bright pink egg nestled in the long grass, the color nearly the same shade as the gloss on his smiling lips. Ash plucked it up and peeked inside, eager to see what wisdom this one might hold. "Courage is in being who you are," it said. Ash's heart fluttered wildly in his chest, as if the universe itself was encouraging him on this brave new path of authentic self-expression. He took a shaky breath and pressed on. An orange egg peeked out from inside a cluster of cheerful daffodils. Barely daring to breathe, Ash extracted it and popped it open, half expecting to find another uncannily relevant message. He was not disappointed. "Acceptance starts with self," it read. Tears pricked at the corners of his kohled eyes. He thought of all the years he'd struggled to accept this side of himself, the shame and fear he'd carried for so long. But today, out in the warm spring sunshine with the breeze playing through his hair, Ash was finally embracing his true identity, and it was more freeing than he ever could have imagined. Determination stealing his spine, Ash scanned the grass for one last egg. He had a feeling there was a final message out there to complete the set, like a personal little dharma the universe had cooked up just for him. A purple egg, the same hue as his earlier dance partner's shirt, glinted in the bushes across the way. Heart pounding, Ash swooped in and claimed it, fingers trembling slightly as he pried it open to reveal the last little slip of paper. "Your uniqueness is your strength," it said, the sentiment striking right to Ash's core. A tear finally slipped free, tracking down his cheek as he let the truth of it wash over him. All this time, he'd viewed his feminine side as a source of fear and shame, something to keep hidden away. But today, out in the open for the first time, Ash was realizing that the very thing that made him different was also what made him special. Strong, unforgettable. Beaming through his tears, Ash clutched the final message to his chest before adding it to the collection in his basket. He felt like he'd just found the most precious treasure in the world, the permission and encouragement to be fully, unabashedly himself. Still overcome with emotion, Ash made his way back over to where Jenna and Kai were laying on a picnic blankets, his Easter eggs gathered in his skirt like a basket of hope and self-acceptance. Jenna sat up as he approached, taking in his wobbly smile and tear-stained cheeks with concern. "Everything okay? How was the hunt?" Ash just shook his head, too choked up to form words. He sank down gracelessly beside them on the blanket and carefully arranged the eggs in the grass. "You guys won't believe this," he started shakily. but I think the universe just gave me the most important pep talk of my life through an Easter egg hunt. Kai moved his head curiously while Jenna's brow furrowed in confusion. What do you mean? Sniffling, Ash proceeded to open each egg and read out the message inside, voice growing stronger and more certain with each word. When he was done, they all sat in stunned silence for a moment, marveling at the incredible synchronicity. Wow, Kai breathed out eventually, eyes wide with wonder. That's some powerful stuff right there. It's like the universe wanted you find at those exact messages right now in your journey, Jenna finished, her own eyes misty. Oh, Ash, it's just so beautiful and perfect. A watery laugh bubbled out of Ash, and he swiped at his wet cheeks. It really is. I feel like I was meant to find them, like I was meant to be here today, in this dress and these heels, dancing in front of everyone without a care in the world. He straightened up and squared his lace-clad shoulders, heart expanding with a fresh surge of certainty. And now, thanks to this absolutely wild little Easter egg quest, I know I'm never going back to hiding my true self ever again. The universe has spoken. Thank you, he whispered to the robin's egg blue sky above, to the warm breeze and the waving daffodils and the smiling faces all around him. All right, enough heavy stuff for now, Jenna declared brightly. This is still a celebration, and I think we need to get back out there and make the most of it. Ash wiped the joyful tears from his cheeks, careful not to smudge his artfully applied eyeliner. He gathered up the profound little notes and tucked them safely in his purse, knowing he'd be treasuring them for a long time to come. You're absolutely right, Jenna, he said, voice still a little shaky with emotion, but eyes bright. Let's get back out there and enjoy this perfect day to the fullest. Kai stood up and gallantly offered a hand to help Ash to his feet. Well then, may I have the honor of accompanying you lovely ladies in further Easter festivities? Ash blushed prettily and slipped his hand into Kai's warm grip, allowing himself to be pulled up. The skirt of his dress fluttered playfully in the light breeze. I'd like that very much, he replied shyly. Jenna bounced to her feet as well, grabbing the picnic blanket and shaking it out. Let's do it. I heard they have the most incredible vegan cinnamon rolls over by the arts and crafts booths. Hand in hand, Kai and Ash followed an enthusiastic Jenna across the grassy park, the cheerful sounds of the event rising up around them. Ash couldn't stop smiling, cheeks rosy with happiness and newfound confidence. He never wanted this magical day to end. They meandered through the bustling stalls, admiring colorful paintings and whimsical sculptures. One booth was selling delicate wire-wrapped crystal necklaces that glinted mesmerizingly in the sun. Ash's fingers naturally gravitated to a stunning aquamarine one that perfectly matched his eyes. Noticing his interest, Kai plucked it from the velvet display and held it up to Ash's throat with a soft smile. This was made for you, he murmured. It matches your eyes perfectly. Ash's lashes fluttered as he smiled up at Kai, amazed at the easy, open affection from this relative stranger. You think so? Definitely. Kai deftly undid the clasp and slipped the necklace around Ash's neck, fingertips just barely grazing the sensitive skin there and sending shivers down Ash's spine. There, perfection. They gazed at each other for a charged moment until Jenna pointedly cleared her throat. As adorable as you two are, I was promised cinnamon rolls, she teased good-naturedly, and I'm pretty sure I can smell them from here. Laughing self-consciously, Ash allowed Kai to take his hand again as they continued on through the crowd in search of the elusive vegan pastries. The light glinted off his new necklace with each step, a tangible reminder of Kai's sweet gesture. When they finally located the booth, the cinnamon rolls more than lived up to the hype, pillowy soft and dripping with gooey icing. Ash let out an involuntary moan of pleasure at the first warm bite, eyes sliding shut in bliss. Upon reopening them, he found Kai watching him with a heated look that made his cheeks flush. He quickly busied himself with a sip of creamy chai, hoping he hadn't smeared lip gloss all over his face in his cinnamon roll ecstasy. They found an empty picnic table overlooking the lake and settled in to enjoy their treats, knees just barely brushing under the table. Jenna regaled them with wild stories from her theater group's latest satirical play, frequently sending Ash into peals of laughter that carried across the water. In a brief lull, Kai turned to Ash with an almost bashful look on his handsome face. "I have to admit, when I first saw you in line for the dance lesson, I thought you were the most uniquely beautiful person I'd ever seen. I'm really glad I worked up the nerve to ask you to dance." Ash ducked his head shyly, heart fluttering wildly in his chest at the compliment. "I'm really glad you did too," he confessed softly. "I never would have been brave enough to do that on my own." From across the table, Jenna surveyed them with a knowing smile, but kindly gave them a moment of relative privacy by very intently studying the laminated menu of vegan desserts. A lump rose in Ash's throat, and he swallowed hard. "Today is the first time I've ever worn a dress in public," he admitted in a near whisper. "I was absolutely terrified. Part of me still can't believe I really went through with it." "That just makes you even more amazing," Kai replied without hesitation, eyes warm and certain on Ash's face. "I hope you're as proud of yourself as I am in awe of you." Ash let out a shaky exhale, overwhelmed by Kai's open acceptance and admiration. "Thank you," he said, voice wavering only slightly. "That means more to me than I can say." They shared a long, meaningful look as Jenna tried very hard to become one with the picnic table. Eventually, she peeked up over the dessert menu with an impish grin. "You know, there's karaoke starting in about 15 minutes across the way. I think it would be a damn shame for Ash to not get to show off more of his many talents while he's feeling so bold and beautiful." Kai lit up at the suggestion. "Yes, absolutely. Ash, you have to sing something, please?" Panic and exhilaration warred in Ash's chest as he bit his glossy lip. He'd always loved to sing, belting out his favorite musical theater numbers in his bedroom since he was little. But the thought of doing it here, in front of all these people while dressed to the nines, it was as thrilling as it was terrifying. But hadn't today been all about embracing those things that scared him most? Saying yes to his own joy and self-expression? The encouraging messages from his earlier egg hunt flitted through his mind, bolstering his resolve. "All right, you two win," he said, equal parts nervous and excited. "Let's go scandalize some suburban moms with a little rent." "Yes!" Jenna whooped, throwing her arms around Ash in a giddy side hug. "This is going to be incredible. You're going to blow them all away." Ash laughed breathlessly as they cleared their table and started towards the karaoke stage. Kai squeezed his hand as they walked, a steady, reassuring presence at his side. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.